Everybody had a great day. FOMC Minutes day, and price action really took that into account. So let's talk about DR and kind of how price reacted to news today, and see what we got. Right, so 20-point range today, so a pretty good size range. We all like to go 16 to 20 plus just to give us some room to operate, and a little bit of a 10 a.m. reversal or close to 10 a.m. reversal, and then we started testing the DR low here. IDR and DR low were pretty much the same price point, so a couple wicks down. And you remember what this means, right? So it really means that price longer term is that it wants to go lower. Okay, at least from the shorter term of this price action here. But you see what happens next. We actually shoot way back up here, and then we start coming back down again. So not a DR trade yet, right? You're not taking any of this yet. You could look at potentially some. I'm trying to see if there was a fair value gap in here. There might be some order blocks or something here, but again, that's a different strategy. So nothing happened here, and so again we're at lunchtime, which we normally say something's going to happen at lunch, and so price comes up, but then at 12 o'clock it comes back down again. Has this long wick down, and then finally decides to confirm on this candle. And so again, now I'm a little shaky, right? Because this morning wasn't that great. It wasn't any kind of range that I could see or direct action I can see. So I'm looking at this going, okay, if we follow the rules, and I'm in my chat group talking about this, and so the next candle, price comes back up, touches DR low. Okay, now some people say, well, you should take a trade there. Remember, my rule is I don't take a trade when it just touches. I need it to go above, in this case, right? So I can put my order in and it can pick me up on the way back down. So in this case, it just touched it and then rejected off of it. So no trade there for me, no DR trade for me. Other DR strategies might take a trade there. I'm not sure, but the one I use, we don't do that. Okay, so the next candle comes down again, and then so we finally get back up here and we retrace above. So I actually so once this retrace above happened, I put my order in, and I got picked up. Right now, this one was not a fun trade, and I'm gonna show you why. Right, so if you look at where I got picked up, and price is up here now, right? So we're about halfway through our stop. If I have a 5-point stop loss, we're about halfway through it almost, if not a little bit more. And so, I'm like, I might lose 5 points on this one. We come back down again, test it again, come back up. So we're not dropping down here, right? Which is what I would expect after we retrace. We're going down a little bit, and then we're jumping back up to a much higher price on the upside versus the downside. And so this goes on for 5, 10, 15, 20. You see up here, this candle up here scared me. That's 20, and then this is 25. So this is 30 minutes, 35 minutes of watching this happen, right? And so it keeps going up, and I'm like, I'm using the ES. I had like one contract on this one, so we're at about $200 in the red here, and I'm like, it might be a loss. And so finally, price comes down after 1 o'clock, and it comes down here at first, and then it shoots back up, and then this candles were actually got out, and I literally took a 1-point take profit on this one because I was that. It wasn't shook, not the right word, but I was just ready to get out of this mess right here because this was annoying. And so I had 1 point here, which kind of kept my streak alive. Hadn't had a DR loss in a week or so. So anyway, so then of course it goes down a little bit more, which again I did not care about. I was happy I got out with my 1 point, and then the price starts to move back up again. Test it one more time, and then it goes back up. Didn't do anything here because again we didn't break through that, so didn't have a trade on here. I was still kind of in shell shock from this one over here, to be honest. So price runs back up, and now price goes up above the 0.5 fib. So it goes up here. My trade following the rules, put my trade on a .5 fib, and then price goes down. And I'll be honest with you, I got out at 4 points. I didn't even let it try to get to 5. Because the way my math works, 1 point plus 4 points is 5 points, so I am good. All right. Now, so I don't think I actually ever got to 5 points, not from the .5 fib, but again, I took it off at 4, and then because again, it also is getting close to 2 o'clock, right? And so now we have FOMC minutes, and this kind of went up and down, and these are just the minutes. These weren't like nobody was talking about them. These were just the minutes from the last meeting, so we should have known kind of what was in them. But anyway, again, it's an event, and so one thing I noticed was we also all of a sudden we had and made these relative equal highs, and so didn't play around with that at all. You see, again, price came down, went back up again. And so this was not a fun place to trade. So I just kind of sat this out. Didn't do this either. Now I normally would have, but again, this was after 2 o'clock, and it was still kind of the price action wasn't making sense to me right at this point. So price came down. This would have been a trade I would have jumped in, but again, glad I didn't, because you see what happens. Similar to what happened over here, it went down a little bit, maybe a couple points, and then shot back up. Okay, so now this one, I actually that was really my only trade for the day. I did do a sim, and I'll show you where I did that one at. But so I closed my account out and jumped in the sim. Didn't do this trade either. Same setup as this one, where you went down a couple of points and it shot back up. Now here's where it got interesting toward the end of the day, right? So after 3 o'clock, which normally doesn't really happen, but as price climbs up here, I know a lot of people took these trades and made a decent return on it. We confirmed low over here, so I'm sticking with my low bias, which is what I always do. I don't change my bias just based off of price. But I'm sitting there going like, I wonder if they're trying to we got all the way up here, and then it started to kind of peter off a little bit. I'm like, I wonder if they're trying to set us up for a retirement setup, which again is when price confirms one direction, goes all the way up to the other side, and then reverses off of it. So once I had this wick that showed up, and price didn't close above the DR high, which again would have invalidated the DR day, right? So once it went up, remember we had to close above. So once we wicked above, we didn't close above. I said, oh, okay. So I jumped in a short here, right? Once that candle closed, I just jumped in a short, and I said I'm just going to see, because I'm in sim now, so I'm being risky Roger, so to speak, and just let it kind of ride down. And this was that would have been about a nice 10-point drop here if I let it play out. But again, I was happy with my 5 points for the day. FOMC, again, I think we hyped it up more than what it needed to be. But at the same time, one of the things on any of these strategies, ICT or the DR, they tell you you really shouldn't trade on heavy news days. And so this is a heavy news week. And so, I think I said on Monday, we just got to keep our head on a swivel and just make sure we're not just setting ourselves up to fail on some of these trades. So, stick to your strategy, stick to your plan, follow your strategy, but head on a swivel. So if you got to pivot, you can pivot, right? So that's it. Again, hope everybody had a great day. I know we have news again tomorrow, somebody speaking and all that good stuff. I haven't looked at Forex Factory yet to kind of put all that together, but head on the swivel, and you guys be good. Talk to you later.